A very good evening and welcome to this Saturday's edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudanayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Signs of the garbage crisis prolonging. Wind speeds to increase with showers tonight. Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana Convention to be held tomorrow.
ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා නම් කිරීම දැවැන්ත ජයග්‍රහණයක් කියලා අපි හිතන්නේ.
Majority of UNP MPs request Prime Minister to decide the presidential candidate after convening the working committee and parliamentary group.
Now the stories in detail. Waste accumulated within Colombo city limits continues to be disposed at Arawakku.
Another 17 tippers carrying accumulated waste in Colombo were dispatched to the Aruwakkalu sanitary landfill site at around 11:30 p.m. last night. Colombo Municipal Council Commissioner Palithanana Akara said another 7 tippers carrying waste were dispatched to Aruwakkalu in the morning. Although authorities claim that the waste was segregated and processed, this was the manner in which the waste was disposed in Aruwakkalu. Since inception of its construction, area residents protested against the sanitary landfill in Aruwakkalu, raising concerns of the unavoidable environmental and social damages. Against such a backdrop, on the 1st of November 2018, the relevant authorities and locals of Aruwakkalu were brought together to one platform through the Gammadda Pradeshiya Mandapaya, which was held at the Serakuliya village in Puttalam. Despite the various responses by authorities at that point, the foreseen environmental damages have now been realized.
What I want you to understand is that the Aruwakkalu sanitary landfill project is not about moving garbage from one place to another.
තවත් විවෘත භූමියක අත්හැර යන ආකාරයේ ව්‍යාපෘතියක් නොවේ.
තමුන්නාන්සලා ඉදිරිපත් කරන කිසිම දෙයක් පිළිගන්නට තරම් බූරුව පුත්තලමේ නැත. කුණු සුවඳට අලියනවා කියන එක කිසිම තාක්ෂණයකට අලින්ට තාක්ෂණය අපිට දීලා කුණු සුවඳ නැති කරන්න බෑ.
තමයි අපි කොළඹ ප්‍රදේශයෙන් ගේන්නේ ඉස්සරලා.
Prior to moving the garbage from Colombo, we compress the waste under high pressure, remove all liquid content and process the waste. The waste will be packed and compressed and will be given to elephants for consumption.
එතකොට මම දන්නේ නැහැ මෙතෙන්ට ආවට පස්සේ අලින්ට ආහාර සඳහා ඒක ගෝචර වෙනවද කියලා.
ඒ වගේම ලංකාවේ අපි
We live in Sri Lanka and we should not disrespect our country. When something worth in millions and billions of rupees is discovered, it will be overlooked. When drugs are discovered, after about 2 days, they cover up the matter, claiming it was flour. Against such a backdrop, how can we treat such technical reports?
අපි කොහොමද ඔබතුමාලාගේ ওই තාක්ෂණික වාර්තා අපි විශ්වාස කරන්නේ?
The relevant authorities, who once promised that all waste will be processed and disposed in a methodical manner, now avert from their initial pledges.
අපි තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ සරල
It's true that we separate polythene from waste during the basic stage of recycling. However, we can only separate polythene and plastics to a certain limit. For instance, it is not practical to separate food wrapped in a lunch sheet. If we are to redo this process, we will have to incur a huge cost. There are methods and processes to do this. However, for a country like Sri Lanka, the cost is too much to bear. Therefore, we must consider the practical aspect in this regard.
නමුත් අපි වගේ රටකට ඒක දරන්න අමාරුයි. ඒ නිසා මෙතනදී අපි න්‍යායාත්මක එක බලන්න ඕනේ ප්‍රායෝගිකවත් එක්ක.
ඇයි අපි කුණුත් එක්ක
Why should we incur additional costs by transporting garbage mixed with water? This is why we compress the garbage by processing it through a transfer station. Therefore, in our station based in Kalaniya, we use machinery to remove water from the garbage as much as possible. However, this process is not finished as yet. Therefore, we are compelled to transport the garbage which contains water.
Against such a backdrop, it is evident that the relevant authorities have failed to address this issue with a solution that is not just limited to words. Garbage within Colombo city limits continues to accumulate in several places.
Due to the prevailing weather condition within Colombo city limits, the collection of garbage has been quite difficult. Due to the rain, water has mixed with waste material, which will be a major issue when transporting the waste to the dumping sites. We have faced several disturbances due to the rain. It's difficult to travel on roads in Aruwakkalu due to the prevailing showers. I believe we will take longer than expected to dispose the waste. We request the residents within Colombo city limits to separate waste when disposing garbage. We will only accept waste material that has been separated methodically. The municipal council will not accept any waste that has not been separated.
With the ineffective and improper implementations of Rosie Senanaika, we now see how effective the work of the so-called Iron Lady is. The waste being moved from Arawakalu is mixed with water. The cost of 90,000 rupees is incurred per lorry to transport this waste. There is a huge financial scam taking place. The waste is not being separated or processed. They continuously say biodegradable waste will not be disposed at the sanitary factory in Arawakalu. However, at present, this is the unfortunate situation.
In Kerawalapitiya, a system to dispose waste and produce compost is currently in place. However, politicians are not allowing anyone to use this facility. The waste is being moved to Arawakalu instead. Why do they move the garbage to Arawakalu? To make money through commissions. There has been political intervention to make this country a garbage dump. Our country is such that action is being taken against those who stood against the attempts made to use a bacteria introduced by the US to destroy the waste in our country. If this bacteria was released in our country, nothing will mix with the soil naturally. We must understand that. Those who speak high of making Sri Lanka a great place to live have now become garbage dumps engaged in politics. What's the point of talking and boasting? The practical aspect must be visible. A country cannot be changed with words and phrases that the general public fails to comprehend.
The chairman of the Wattala Pradesh Sabha has approved or permitted a clinical waste disposal project in the plot of land belonging to the council in Keralapitiya. What is this clinical waste and from where does it come from? Is this clinical waste being monitored properly? Garbage containers were imported from foreign lands into our country. There is a risk that these imported waste materials may be disposed along with the clinical waste in Keralapitiya or in Muthurajavala. At present, no legal action is being taken against those who import garbage from overseas and those who dispose garbage without any proper and scientific basis.
Meanwhile, a debate arose at the Wattala Pradesh Sabha about a waste material project implemented in the Keralapitiya Reserve in Muthurajavala.
A group of MPs of the Pradesh Sabha alleged that the chairman had issued a permission letter without the approval of the council for a chemical waste disposal project to be implemented adjacent to the Keralapitiya garbage site.
Around 1 acre of land in the Muthurajavala area has been destroyed. A portion of this land has been leased to burn and destroy clinical waste. Honorable Chairman, the document includes your signature and states that it was presented to the Wattala Pradesh Sabha and all 35 MPs of the council had unanimously approved it. Even the document that you gave states it was presented to the council and everyone present did not express their views. Chairman, why did you lie and betray us? In this document you state that there was no opposition from the council against this project. I demand you present the relevant report or council minutes that shows this matter was discussed previously.
The Department of Meteorology says fairly heavy rainfall of approximately 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the western, central, northwestern and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. It adds that wind speed up to 70 to 80 kilometers per hour can be expected along the coastal area from Putlam to Galle.
Wind speed in the North and Central Arabian Sea areas may increase up to 70 to 80 kilometers per hour. Rough seas can also be experienced. Wind speeds in the North and Central areas in the Bay of Bengal may increase up to 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. Thunder showers can be expected in the coastal area extending from Mana to Hambantota via Puttalam and Galle.
විටින් විට වැසි විපරුම් සහිත වැසිය තියෙන්න පුළුවන්.
Meanwhile, strong winds up to 60 kilometers per hour can be expected in the coastal areas between Colombo and Mena via Puttalam and the coastal areas between Hambantota and Pothuwil. The Department of Fisheries requests fishermen to refrain from venturing into sea due to strong winds in the northern and central Bay of Bengal sea areas. 2 fishermen, both residents of Pamunugama Wattala, have gone missing following the accident.
Well, the inclement weather is taking its toll here in Behula as gale force winds are battering the coast at wind speeds, according to Met Department, between 60 to 70 kilometers per hour. As you can see, the fishing community has also refrained from setting out to sea. Just one boat slightly visible stranded in the sea, but we hope they are safe. However, the gale force winds accompanied by heavy rains are battering the coast in Behula.
Meanwhile, strong gusty winds were reported in several areas across the island last evening. 4 houses were damaged due to strong winds in the Hatbodiyavatta area in Narayanpitam. In addition, a bus belonging to the Prince of Wales College in Moratua was damaged after a tree collapsed.
The National Convention of Sri Lanka Podujana Perubuna will be held tomorrow afternoon at the Sukatadasa Indoor Stadium. A media briefing regarding this was held at the party office today.
Tomorrow, I believe Mahinda Rajapaksa will present Gotabaya Rajapaksa as the presidential candidate. I believe that's a tremendous victory. Tomorrow, our first priority is to hand over our party's leadership, the leadership of the SLPP, to Mahinda Rajapaksa. He will present the candidate named by us as the presidential candidate. We have no issue with this candidate. There's a list of candidates from the alliance which is to be formed, led by the UNP. If it's so hard to select a candidate, I believe the best option is to have a game of musical chairs to select a candidate.
A group of MPs are compiling a letter requesting the Prime Minister to take steps to conduct a confidential vote by convening the UNP Working Committee and the parliamentary group in order to select the party presidential candidate. The following views were expressed in this regard.
We couldn't put even one of those thieves in the previous government who stole billions of state funds behind bars. These thieves are presented before this country as presidential candidates. Let them come. The people have unanswered questions for them. We do not have a crisis in our party. We will sort them out within our party. We will sort it out and present our strongest candidate as the presidential candidate. We will demonstrate how we will defeat the Rajapaksas for the second time. They say that they do not have any problems. Whenever they start speaking, the first word that comes out is Rajapaksa. Our party isn't like that. It was in the first time in history that a Labour leader who was called Ranasinghe Premadasa, born in the Sanji Arachige estate, went on to become the president. This is the poor man's party. We have the ability to form a broader and stronger alliance.
We have planned to appoint a presidential candidate from the United National Party who will, with all certainty, be the president by 2020. We will present the candidate that the people of this country are asking for. He will win the election with all certainty. The UNP demands 80% of the power of the alliance. If we are not given that power, we have no interest in any alliance that is being formed. Parliamentarians of the United National Party intend on requesting Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to convene the working committee of the UNP and then to decide on the presidential candidate. This request is adhering to the party constitution. Yesterday, 26 backbenchers of the UNP held a discussion and decided to nominate Deputy Leader Minister Sajith Premadasa as the UNP's presidential candidate.
Sajith Premadasa මහතාව නම් කළ යුතුයි කියලා ඉවරලා.
Sajith Premadasa දාලා ඊළඟ කොහොට්ටුවෙන් ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ දැම්මොත් තරගයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් නේද?
අපි දිරනවා ලක්ෂ 8කින් ලියලා තියාගන්න.
2 Udagamana villages constructed in the Jaffna district under the Samata Sevena Yali Pibidena Udagamana program was vested in the public today.
The deputy leader of the United National Party, Minister Sajith Premadasa, declared open the 244th and 245th Udagamana model villages in Valikhamam today. The model villages have been named Senthamil Gramam and Thiruvirapuram. The model villages, which consist of 44 housing units, was constructed at a cost of 41.6 million rupees. The event was attended by several MPs and the Indian Consulate General in Jaffna. We are all aware that there are thousands of families in the northern and eastern provinces led by women. I promise all of you that in the days to come, I will implement a special program for such families. The constitution says everyone must be treated equally. However, in reality, this is not the case. One section of the society is treated in one way and the other differently. Sajith Premadasa will change this system and ensure everyone is treated equally. The political heat has started. The political games, the musical chairs, and the distribution of political sweets and biscuits have commenced. I must clearly state, Sajith Premadasa is not someone who engages in such activities. Sajith Premadasa works hard for his people. He has earned the respect of the opposition. We are all at a very important juncture. There is an upcoming presidential election. His name is being spoken of abundantly. After the presidential candidate is announced, we will meet him and hold discussions. Under your leadership and the provision of houses and construction of infrastructure facilities are not the only issues that need to be addressed. You must solve the communal crisis that has prevailed for more than 20 years. We are confident that Minister Sajith Premadasa will solve this issue. This is our request. I am well aware that if Minister Sajith Premadasa takes over a task, he completes it. He has a very good memory. If we inform him of a matter and we forget it, it is he who reminds us of it. The TNA, together with Minister Premadasa, is currently engaged in development activities. A lot of it is taking place. At this point, we request for a constitution that will enable us to be independent and empower us to carry on our own administrative activities.
Minister of Plantation Industries Navin Dissanayake visited Jaffna today.
Minister Navin Dissanayake visited the Nagaviharaya in Jaffna this morning and engaged in religious observances and planted a coconut tree in the premises. Subsequently, new appointments were given for coconut plantation development officers and farmers were given relief by the minister at the Palali Model Coconut Garden.
The Janasetta Peramuna spoke about their plans laid out for the presidential election campaign during a media briefing today.
Since there is no long-term policy, we will serve the nation with independent policies. We will compete this presidential election independently with a better policy.
What is the fate of the country at a time where presidential candidates have become the main topic of discussion? Indigenous leaders and experts of the nation expressed their views on the matter.
In my view, if a leader comes forward, it is either for the sake of his country, his people, his nationality or his religion. In that sense, there is no point in murdering or engaging in any violence to assume the leadership. At this point, the general public must realize whether such leaders who come to power with violence actually intend to save the people. It is the same group that is divided into two and competing with each other. Only they can play this match. Who are we? We are just the viewers who cheer on. When one group retires from the team, their children, grandchildren and relatives join the team. We remain as viewers. There is only one answer to this. We need to join the game. If not, we will continue to be viewers for the rest of our lives.
Venerable Theros, I have a question. We must choose a leader. There is a group of nearly 225 MPs for this. We are the ones who elected them. How can we judge them before electing them to Parliament? Those in Parliament at present are hoping to be elected again. They are reluctant to leave their positions. When the President served as the Minister of Agriculture, he recruited me, and I worked there for some time. You receive everything free of charge. Even my wife's phone bill was paid by the department. I received unlimited petrol facilities. When I was to leave, even I thought to myself what a loss it was to leave. I thought to myself, what a waste of public funds. Should we waste public funds so much? It's good to have a constitution in place that would punish those who commit wrongdoings immediately. However, this constitution is now the biggest issue. Those who formulated the rules are unable to understand what they have done and have asked the judiciary to solve the issue. What is this joke? Mahadana Mutta's big knowledge book is much better than this. We are not sure of what's included in the constitution. This issue should be addressed as well.
Politicians only notice the issues of the general public during elections. They only tend to look for solutions at the face of a protest. Our Gamadda teams visited the people across the island and visited certain villages unspotted on the map of Sri Lanka. Gamadda is the prime evidence for the unseen, unheard struggles of the people. As a result, Gamadda is valued by all religious leaders.
Gamadda, gain getter.
The fourth edition of the Gamadda Door-to-Door program concluded yesterday. This was after covering 25 districts in 23 days in search of hardships faced by the citizens of our country.
It's all me, egos cast aside.
Bringing another Gamadda Door-to-Door edition to an end, our team today paid homage to the Malwatu Mahaviharaya. Dr. Tilak Bandara of the University of Peradeniya, Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited, Siobhan Daniel, and other representatives from Newsfirst were present at the occasion. The group then visited the Anunayaka of the Askari chapter, Venerable Vedarwe Upalithera, and obtained blessings.
It is very important that there is an involvement of the university students in this program. We can see that the current situation in the country is not exactly a bed of roses. The Gamadda teams go to the hearts of the villagers and reveal the unseen side of this country, and these teams take certain measures to correct these problems. This should be highlighted. When the responsible authorities are turning a blind eye on the problems of the people, a media organization draws the attention of the country to the problems faced by the people. We bestow our blessings upon this Gamadda Door-to-Door team. We watch this program every evening. By highlighting the problems of the people who do not have anyone to help them, you are gaining a lot of merit.
Another Gamadda team called on the Anuradhapura Atamasthana Adhipati, Venerable Dr. Pallegama Sirunivasa Thero, and obtained his blessings. Thereafter, the Gamadda teams paid homage to the historical Sri Mahabodhiya. Our Gamadda teams touring the northeastern district in the search of the voiceless concluded the fourth phase of the Gamadda Door-to-Door program by paying homage to the Nallur Kovil in Jaffna. Another Gamadda team touring the Beruwala area visited the Dargah Sharif in Kenchimali and obtained blessings. Successfully concluding the fourth Gamadda edition, our teams then visited the St. Yohar Church in Katabe and obtained blessings. We will continue to meet the people and shine light on various issues faced by the people through the Gamadda Pradeshya Sabha Mandapaya.
Gamadda, gain getter.
Against the backdrop where a salary increment of 1,000 rupees for estate workers is merely a dream, this story is about these estate workers who are now helpless due to the sudden increase of the membership fee of the Estate Workers Union.
These people, who took to the streets for over an year in order to increase their daily wage to 855 rupees, only managed to fulfill their request a few months ago. When such an amount is clearly not sufficient to maintain the expenses of a family, these workers also struggle to request the authorities to increase their daily wage to 1,000 rupees. At a time like this, certain trade unions deduct a portion of their salary similar to the leeches sucking blood out of their victims. The monthly membership fee of trade unions, which stood at 150 rupees, has risen by 80 rupees against a backdrop where an additional allowance of 50 rupees promised by the government has not yet been given.
For generations, we have been loyal to Sondaman's party. Up to now, the trade union fee stood at 150 rupees, but from this month onward, 233 rupees had been deducted. Who permitted to deduct this amount? We go through so many hardships. Politicians suck our blood just like leeches. Parties of Digambaran, Radhakrishnan and Thondaman have deducted 233 rupees. What did they do for us? They have done nothing. These leaders from all three parties have deducted this amount without our permission. We do not have houses and water. Why are they fooling us? They act as if estate workers are nothing but garbage. They are only trade unions. These educated people are acting as uneducated people. It's when we got our pay sheets, we realized that such an amount had been deducted. They are living comfortable lives with our money. We are suffering.
The King of Cambodia, Norodom Sihamoni, and President Maithripala Sirisena issued a joint statement regarding the president's state visit to Cambodia.
The joint statement stated both leaders reaffirmed commitment to further deepen bilateral relations, which are firmly supported by the cultural and religious affinity of the two nations. The two leaders highlighted the importance of the regular exchange of high-level visits and consultations to strengthen and expand bilateral cooperation. The leaders also agreed to task the institutions concerned of both countries to work together in order to increase bilateral trade, investment and tourist exchanges, and encouraged closer collaboration between the private sector of Cambodia and Sri Lanka. Both leaders also noted that Cambodia and Sri Lanka have great potential in tourism and agreed to urge all relevant institutions to work closely. To seal this agreement, both leaders applauded the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Cambodia Chamber of Commerce and the Colombo Chamber of Commerce in Sri Lanka. President Sirisena extended an invitation to the King of Cambodia and also to the Prime Minister to visit Sri Lanka at a convenient time in the future.
The Colombo Tea Traders Association, the apex body of the country's tea industry, marked its 125th anniversary yesterday.
But dependent as it was on...
The ceremony was held under the auspices of Minister of Plantation Navin Dissanayake in Colombo yesterday. A commemorative publication titled Tea Man, which records a well-researched history of the association, was also launched yesterday. One of the primary functions of the Colombo Tea Traders Association is the management of the Colombo Tea Auction, which it has handled since 1894. A workshop to present the Ceylon Tea Roadmap 2030, compiled in collaboration with the stakeholders of the industry to serve as a benchmark for the development of the industry over the next 10 years, was also held in line with the event.
The 8th commemoration of Mr. H.K. Dharmadasa, the founder of the Navaloka Group, was held today.
An alms-giving program for 100 monks was held at the Paliagoda Navaloka building to commemorate Mr. H.K. Dharmadasa today. Family members, friends and other close relatives were present at the occasion. Mr. H.K. Dharmadasa, the founder of the Navaloka Group, was known as a humanitarian and a prominent businessman. Mr. Dharmadasa was born on the 17th of June 1920 and passed away on the 10th of August 2011.
An oration was held yesterday in memory of late Professor Udita Liyanage, the marketing guru, who enlightened many in the field of marketing.
Professor Liyanage obtained his doctorate from the Postgraduate Institute of Management of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. He was a senior faculty member in marketing at PIM for over 20 years and served as the director of PIM and chairman of the Institute's Board of Management. The oration was conducted by the chairman of MAS Holdings, Dr. Mahesh Amalin. This was organized by a joint memorial oration committee.
Well, that's a look at weekend primetime news for tonight. But we leave you tonight with the views expressed by veteran artist Rohana Baddage about the current situation of the country. Good night.
Venerable Theros, I have a question. We must choose a leader. There is a group of nearly 225 MPs for this. We are the ones who elected them. How can we judge them before electing them to Parliament? Those in Parliament at present are hoping to be elected again. They are reluctant to leave their positions. When the President served as the Minister of Agriculture, he recruited me, and I worked there for some time. You receive everything free of charge. Even my wife's phone bill was paid by the department. I received unlimited petrol facilities. When I was to leave, even I thought to myself what a loss it was to leave. I thought to myself, what a waste of public funds. Should we waste public funds so much? It's good to have a constitution in place that would punish those who commit wrongdoings immediately. However, this constitution is now the biggest issue. Those who formulated the rules are unable to understand what they have done and have asked the judiciary to solve the issue. What is this joke? Mahadana Mutta's big knowledge book is much better than this. We are not sure of what's included in the constitution. This issue should be addressed as well.
හරි පුදුමයි මේ පොත නම් මේ පොතේ ලියාගෙන තියෙනව නම් මොනවද කියලා අපි දන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඕක